Hey everyone, welcome back to the OG Spice Guy Show, where we dig into the real stories behind the world's boldest flavors, from the fields where they're grown to the businesses that bring them to your table. If you're passionate about food, family, and building something that lasts, you're in the right place. I'm your host, Jonathan Raju. Today, we're talking about one of the most legendary, misunderstood, and versatile spices in the world, cinnamon. We'll dive into a recent trip I took to the highlands of Indonesia where they grow real, organic Cassia cinnamon. So we're going to peel back the layers on cinnamon's ancient origins, explore how it's grown, why it matters, and how this bark became a bold global staple with powerful health benefits and flavor stories to match. So let's get into it. Dude, I just got back from one of the coolest trips I've ever taken.
You do a lot of trips.
I do a lot of trips.
So this means I should pay attention to this one.
This one was cool. This one was cool on a lot of different levels because we went to Indonesia.
Who's we?
And that's the other reason why this was so cool, because I had my family with me.
Okay. So Indonesia. Let's put that in perspective a little bit.
Yeah.
Where is that? That is...
So Indonesia is off of the northern coast of Australia.
Okay.
It's kind of an interesting way, I think, to describe it. It's actually it's closer to Australia than you would think.
Okay.
But it's technically Southeast Asia. So south of Singapore.
Got it.
North of Australia.
And is it big?
Indonesia is a series of, I believe it's actually thousands of small islands.
Okay, cool.
Most popular part of Indonesia is Bali.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bali is like a city or a state kind of thing? Is a region? An island?
It's an island.
Got it.
Yeah, so they have many different islands. Another island, Sumatra, something we'll be talking about today in the episode.
Very cool. So you went to Indonesia with the fam.
With the fam to visit one of our suppliers in Indonesia.
Brilliant.
So in this corner of the world, also close to Vietnam, this area they grow black pepper, nutmeg, mace, and of course cinnamon.
Got it.
So it was a really cool trip because I had the family with me. This was the first time that they've traveled like this at such great distance and length of time.
How long is the flight?
Oh, boy. So we had to fly to Hong Kong, which is a 14-hour flight, Los Angeles to Hong Kong. Then we had to transit from Hong Kong to Indonesia, which is about another 5-hour flight. And
that's a lot of flying.
Yeah, a lot of flying.
So 21-ish. And then, are you hoteling next to the airport, or do you have a drive?
We did a hotel next to the airport, and then you got to drive, and but definitely planes, trains, and automobiles.
Okay, so is it an industrial thing? You're going to a farm somewhere.
It was really cool the way that our supplier set it up for us. I mean, they took such good care of us. So here's a cool thing. So I asked them, I said, hey, what about do we need an invitation letter? Do we need a visa? What does that look like? And he was like, no, don't worry about it. We'll take care of everything. I was like, okay. I don't know how I feel about this. So we get off the plane, and he said, our contact will find you. And I was like, okay. So we get off the plane. Sure enough, this guy comes. He's like, Mr. Raju.
He wasn't holding a sign. He walked right up to you?
Walked right up to us.
All right.
And he said, hi, I'll be taking care of you guys. Can you give me your passports? And I was like, oh, this is either where we go missing or, an incredibly cool experience. And thankfully it was the latter. So he basically takes it off to the corner and goes to a guy, and, they just stamp the passports and, we're in. And then he asked for, the tickets that they give you when you check your luggage.
Yeah. The little
luggage tags.
Yes.
And somehow, some way, they went and they collected the luggage. They usher us to the car that's waiting.
Okay.
Everything's done for us.
Awesome. That's how you should travel.
And that's my part I love the most about international travel.
Yeah.
Is especially my dad and I go back to India. We don't do anything. Everything's done for you.
Can I give you my example of that?
Sure.
Because we're going to talk about your trip to Indonesia today, right? And we're talking about cinnamon, and I'm super excited. I got cinnamon rolls in front. I've got Fireball, and I've been eating the hot tamales. This is thanks to Michelle and Max for setting all this up. It's going to be great. So, yeah, I went to Disney the other day with my kids, okay? And my boys are older, so I paid a little extra so they wouldn't have to stand in all the lines. I didn't pay like the double ticket so you go to the front, but I had to manage the digital
fast pass.
Then I saw a guy with his 2 daughters and a personal Disney tour guide that was his 4th. And she literally worked, and so it's like a Disney family. Anyway, he had 2 little girls, and they rode the rides. They go in the front of every line. They know where to be at all times for optimal park.
This is like a personalized, like chauffeur Disney experience.
It's kind of like when you exit a plane in Indonesia after 21 hours of flying, and a dude walks right up to you and says, "I've got it.
Here you go." Takes you passport control. Boom, boom, boom. They stamp your passport.
Gosh, I'm so jealous.
I mean, I've traveled a lot. I've never had this type of experience before. It was incredible.
All right. Well, that's awesome. Your kids enjoyed it. They thought it was a good experience. Just
Great
for
time.
Perspective, your kids are teenagers.
Teenagers.
What did you do?
It was awesome. So, a lot of these suppliers, the way they're kind of set up is their processing facilities are in the big city.
Okay.
So we were in a city called Surabaya, which is a large city in Indonesia. It's actually the economic hub of Indonesia, I came to find out. It's also their main shipping port, which is why they're set up there, because that's where they export all their materials from. But of course, none of the products that they process are in that city because they don't grow in the city. They grow in, the
farms,
and the forests.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you have to take either a plane or a boat to get to these islands in Indonesia where they're grown. We started off with a factory tour, and this was my family's first time being in a spice facility outside of high quality organics. Yeah. And you get there and you open the doors, and literally you are just bathed in this aroma of cinnamon. Like it hits you like a ton of bricks. I mean, right now in the studio, there's a lot of cinnamon. We got all these cinnamon products here. You can definitely smell it, but there you could feel it. Mm-hmm. And it was incredible. It was so cool just to watch them kind of interact and put on all the PPE, because you're in a food facility, and see the actual manufacturing of the cinnamon. How do they cut these quills down to size, to then how is black pepper grinded, and how is nutmeg processed, and how are cloves hand selected. We saw all of that.
That's awesome.
In this facility. So it was fun obviously from a business relationship, and I kind of conducted my little mini audit with them.
Sure.
But then it was also fun as a father who is second generation in a family business, and who very much wants his kids to become part of this business, to see them interacting for the first time.
Yeah, that's awesome. What a great experience.
Yeah, super cool.
I'm sure you'll tell us more along the way
absolutely.
Here, but we're also going to talk a little bit about cinnamon, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. Cinnamon is in the food industry is referred to as Cassia. There are actually 2 types of cinnamon.
Okay.
There is what we call Cassia, and then what we call true cinnamon. So true cinnamon can only come from Sri Lanka. That is where this species of cinnamon grows. Okay. True cinnamon, otherwise known as Ceylon, only comes from Sri Lanka.
Got it.
Whereas Cassia can come from other regions in the world. Most notably, it comes from Indonesia as well as Vietnam.
All right.
So there's a flavor difference between the two. So Ceylon, or true cinnamon, I always describe it as very soft, kind of a muted cinnamon.
Okay.
Very subtle. And it's often used in teas. So when we have tea customers that come to us, they will often ask for a true cinnamon.
All right.
But what we deal with, the vast majority of our sales is Cassia, or what we would call regular cinnamon. Everything that's in front of us today, from the cinnamon rolls to the fireball to the hot tamales, is made with cassia. It is a bold, intense, in-your-face, spicy cinnamon.
That's what we like here in the States.
That's what we like here in the States, exactly.
I'm sure I wonder if you looked on the label of some of these, if it's actual cinnamon or if it's fake cinnamon.
Well, I think what they're using for the most part is most likely a cinnamon flavor or a cinnamon extract, especially in something like the fireball. You'd probably use a cinnamon extract.
I'm looking forward to the end of the podcast.
The eating part of the episode?
Yeah, the cinnamon rolls look really good.
There's part of me that thinks that's the only reason why you do the podcast.
No, the social media wanted me to do the cinnamon challenge where you eat the powdered cinnamon.
Yeah, but our lawyers advised against
Smart. So tell me a little bit more about cinnamon. So I know it's grown in Indonesia. I think you've told me one time it's a tree.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit more about cinnamon.
So cinnamon is the inner bark of the tree. After about 2 to 3 years of growth, the farmers cut a branch, or they can gently peel away the outer layer. They carefully shave off the inner bark of these layers that they cut. And as it dries in the sun, it turns into these quills. So the perfect quills are measured by hand, cut by hand, to get the desired size of our customers. The ones that are less than ideal, that maybe have blemishes or crooked or cracked, or we call it broken and cleaned, are kind of milled into, so you can see this is more. It
almost looks like coffee from here.
Yeah, it looks like coffee grinds.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's milled into what we would call a semi-finished product.
Okay.
So this can be used in the tea industry, put into tea bags, or it can be further milled. So at HQO, we would take this and then we would mill it into a really fine cinnamon powder, which of course is used in baking. It's used on top of your lattes, so on and so forth.
Are there different grades or qualities of cinnamon?
There are. So within the tree, you can actually have different types of qualities of cinnamon. And in the spice industry, oftentimes quality is measured by VO, volatile oil.
Okay.
So there are different parts within the tree that will have higher or lower VO content. And the suppliers, the growers, know this. So if they get the customer specification, so me being the customer saying, hey, I want a VO of 3 or 4% or higher, or a VO that's lower, they can actually harvest different parts of their tree, or even within the orchard or the grove, if you will. They know where to go to get that.
Is more VO better or premium?
It absolutely is more expensive, I'll put it that way. It means there's more volatile oil content, which means that flavor and that aroma is that much more intense.
Got it.
It doesn't always mean it's a good thing. Sometimes you have customers that are like, oh, this is actually too pungent. And so we'll find a lot of material that has a lower VO. You've probably heard of Sumatra. You see it on packaging for coffee.
Yeah.
So coffee grows here. Did you know coffee is a spice? So it often grows alongside cinnamon and black pepper.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So anyway, so Sumatra is this massive island in western Indonesia. So think about tropical rainforest, volcanic soil, and incredible biodiversity. And of course, it's the home to some of the world's finest Cassia cinnamon. So it's actually in the highlands of West Sumatra. These cinnamon trees thrive in that mist and the mountain air. So it's a combination of the atmosphere and of course the soil. So there are so many active volcanoes in Indonesia. We actually went to one. It was pretty cool.
Oh, very cool.
The sulfur and all the other minerals that they're kind of spewing into the air as those particles land back into the soil. It's what makes the soils so fertile. We probably see a lot of the same things like when you go to Hawaii.
Got it.
Again, active volcanoes.
Very cool.
Indonesia produces over 40% of the world's cinnamon. But what makes this cinnamon really special, it's not just the flavor, but it's the way that it's actually grown. There is this term that I learned when I was over there called agroforestry. This is really important because it's not big ag. I think here in the U.S., we're oftentimes used to big ag, where you have hundreds or thousands of acres that are mass planted, mass harvest. You see these huge machines that just go through, whether it's wheat or corn or soy. That is not what's happening here. This is agroforestry. These are small family plots of land, if you will. There's a tremendous amount of biodiversity, which also helps to contribute to the natural landscape of the environment, as well as co-ops.
Okay.
So Indonesia faces a lot of deforestation. So what they're doing with this system is basically farming with the forest instead of clearing it. So instead of cutting down forest to grow one crop, farmers plant cinnamon alongside coffee, nutmeg, even fruit trees. So they're working with the environment and they let it grow naturally, just like it would in a forest. So this system protects biodiversity. It builds healthy soil, reduces erosion, and avoids chemical fertilizers altogether. It is a living food forest, if you will.
All right. So it's trees.
They're trees.
The trees. And then it's the bark of the tree that cinnamon is? Okay. Yeah. So, and you showed me videos in the past of guys shucking the bark off of it. Okay. Does that bark just replenish and they go back and they're just pulling the hide off of these trees?
Yeah, that's one way to think about it, is so the actual, think of the trunk of the tree. There are sections that are harvested, scraped away, if you will. It's really interesting to see. So obviously a tree has many layers to its bark. So they go in with like a sharp knife and they'll score around an entire section and peel this off. The way that it's peeled off, it's this combination of botany, because they know exactly how much to peel without ruining the tree, and art, because it's a lot of intuition. They've been doing it for decades.
Very cool. Very cool.
Then they will roll it because it's going to naturally want to curl back on itself. So that's one way. Another way is there's little branches, right? So those branches, small branches, can get cut off, and oftentimes those are used for the quills.
Okay.
So many of these systems are actually rooted in indigenous knowledge, So that's the beautiful thing about the farmers that we work with, is their family has been farming said product for centuries. They know what they're doing, and this tribal knowledge, if you will, has been passed down from generation to generation to generation. And that's why at HQO we work with families who have been doing this for generations. That's the importance of farmer cooperatives. Big agribusiness gets the attention, the subsidies, the infrastructure, while meanwhile agroforestry farmers are doing more with less. And that's why HQO wants to support these smaller family farms and suppliers. Like in the case of Indonesia, this is a family owned and operated, their third generation business. So it's a beautiful thing. That's why supporting agroforestry isn't just for the organic label. It's really a commitment to long-term sustainability, healthier ecosystems, and the livelihoods of the farmers who have been stewarding these landscapes for generations. It's really interesting how within the tree the product can vary, because these trees grow, they're just massive. These massive trees, they're at least 50, 60 feet in the air.
Are you serious? I did not have that picture in my mind this whole time. I thought they were shorter, skinnier.
No,
these cinnamon trees are big trees.
They're large.
50 feet high.
At around there.
Yeah.
They're big.
What kind of, and is it big green?
Yeah. So think of like a large, evergreen or, big oak tree.
Yeah.
That's what these things look like.
Okay. All right.
And so they have these really, pervasive root systems, obviously, to feed a tree of that size. And so one of the biggest things that's a concern in the cinnamon industry is heavy metals, specifically lead. Unfortunately, last year, the food industry had a bit of an issue where there is, we call it economically motivated adulteration, where this happened in a conventional industry, so not an organic, but there was, some shady people that actually added lead chromate to cinnamon to boost the color. So it was like old, expired material, if you will. They added the lead chromate to give it this nice brown, rich color. But lead, of course, is a metal and poisonous. We can't ingest too much metals, heavy metals especially. And the product went into applesauce, which of course is largely consumed by children. And the applesauce manufacturer tested it and found these way high levels of lead. And it had huge implications through the entire food industry, because now everybody is like, okay, now we're concerned about heavy metals and cinnamon. And, there's a lot of, unfortunately, adulterations that happen in the food industry. And so a lot of people, came in a panic to us and said, do you test your cinnamon for lead? Do you have test results? And we said, yeah, we've been testing cinnamon for lead for many years, far before, this whole thing broke. And so, thankfully HQO was well positioned to say in a matter of, seconds, be like, yep, we sure do. Here are the test results.
Yeah.
So when we went, I was having conversations with our suppliers, and I said, hey, your stuff, your cinnamon always tests really clean for lead. I'm curious, how do you guys do that? And they said, we test the soil extensively of all of our orchards, our groves, and before we even plant there. And then while we're planting there, we're continuing, because lead, cadmium, mercury, arsenic occur naturally in the soil.
So it's not just
when you add it.
Bad dudes that are trying to make it brown.
Exactly.
It's actually can be in the soil.
It's natural. It's natural. And so you'll see naturally low levels. It's when you see those very high levels that you're like, okay, something fishy went on here. So not only, does the product vary inside these trees, but it varies from tree to tree and orchard to orchard. The important thing is that customers are partnering with suppliers that are having these robust conversations with origin suppliers on saying, okay, how are you guys testing? What's your programs? What are your systems?
What are the standards that a place like Indonesia, or are they up to the same standards as the U.S.?
Right.
I'm sure that you guys.
Right. Oh, absolutely. So cinnamon has been treasured for over 4,000 years. It was used by ancient Egyptians in embalming rituals. It was even cited in the Bible as holy and prescribed in traditional Chinese medicine as early as 2700 BC. Arab traders guarded its origins with outlandish myths involving dragons, giant birds, to keep the prices high. And in ancient Rome, Emperor Nero burned a year's supply of cinnamon at his wife's funeral to show his wealth. So for centuries, this humble bark-flavored food signaled status and at times was worth more than gold.
They used them in embalming? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Right. So is it just to cover the smell of things? Like, do you think it was pungent? So I'm trying to think of if Egyptian kids don't like smell cinnamon and think, oh, mom's apple pie and cinnamon rolls. They go, oh, there's a dead body around here somewhere.
That's interesting. Right? I actually think I don't know this for sure, but I think it was to show like value and wealth, because it was so highly regarded, and they wanted to, bury their kings and their pharaohs with all these world's possessions for the afterlife.
That's a much more positive look at it. Probably.
Really, it has such an interesting past. And I think that cinnamon, especially here in the United States, is so ubiquitous in our culture and cuisine. And I don't think a lot of people really give it much thought.
It's dessert for us, mostly, right? We were talking about trying to get things that are savory with cinnamon, and there's plenty. I see it all the time on,
Yeah, it's used in so many culinary,
like sauces and things like that.
Yeah, it's not just sweet.
But to get something that is predominantly cinnamon flavored, it's here we're looking to get food, you're thinking desserts.
But, you go to, let's talk about Indian food. So you have your curries, your garam masala, cinnamon, before they actually make those, to wake up the cinnamon oils, they will actually toast these pieces, these larger granules of cinnamon. They'll toast it in a dry pan, wake up the oils, and then throw it into like a coffee grinder and grind it fresh. And then they will use it to build their curries and their garam masalas. Mexican food.
Yeah.
Where cinnamon is super popular. It's a sauce. I'll give you a hint.
Chocolate would be mole. So
mole,
okay.
Exactly.
I thought you were going to say horchata.
Horchata. Do we have horchata to try?
We do. We got it. It's in the fridge.
Can I get an horchata?
They're lattes. Even better. That's awesome. So we got these from Terra Mia.
Yeah, where did we get these from?
Terra Mia.
Highland Park. Thank you, sir.
In Highland.
Definitely are known for their horchata lattes.
In Highland Park, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Terra Mia Coffee, Highland Park. Shout out Terra Mia.
Shout out Terra Mia. We would, when we have millions of followers, you too will benefit, and maybe we get some free lattes. Okay, so we're saying this is really a horchata is basically like milk, cinnamon milk. If you eat a whole bowl of Cinnamon Toast Crunch, the milk that's left over is probably this, right?
Yeah, that's good.
Holy smokes, dude. That is amazing.
Oh,
I mean, it's a cinnamon roll in a drink.
It really is. Yeah, very good.
This was a good decision. We're right in the middle of the podcast. You were doing awesome education and inspiring, and then I'm just like, dude, hold on. We need to be indulging. We need to be indulging.
So moles,
yes,
it's cinnamon's used in moles. Okay, a couple other areas where cinnamon is maybe prevalent that you wouldn't think about is like Middle Eastern food. So like Moroccan, those. Have you seen these pots? They're like pyramidal shape.
Yes.
And so you go to like a Middle Eastern and they'll remove it, and inside is like it's got these stews with like lamb, and so in those tagines, cinnamon is a common spice in those dishes. I think pairs really nicely with the rich flavor of lamb and goat, and these stews really helps to break it down. Pairs well with fruits like apricot. And then if we go to more kind of Asian cultures, like Asian 5 spice, cinnamon is one of the 5 spices.
All right.
And they use it in their cuisine to braise, again, those like really rich meats like duck, duck and duck. So they use it to braise kind of more fatty and rich meats like duck, and then more of like the savory sauces as well. Really versatile spice. So again, here in the U.S., very common on the sweet side, but the other parts of the world more savory. In the U.S., I will say barbecue.
Yeah.
Heavy cinnamon base.
Yeah, your rub usually has some can have some cinnamon in there.
Yeah.
The problem with cinnamon is that it's desserts for me, which means it's too many calories and it's sugar, and synonymous with that.
It's interesting you should say that. So while, these beautiful cinnamon rolls are probably not the healthiest thing for you to eat, it's not because of the cinnamon. It's because of the, butter and carbs and everything
Flowers
that's involved. But,
sugar.
There's actually health benefits to cinnamon. So it's functional. Cinnamon contains cinnamaldehyde. It's actually a natural compound that gives cinnamon its aroma, and also acts as an antimicrobial and anti-inflammatory agent. It's rich in polyphenols, and those powerful antioxidants protect the body from oxidative stress. As a matter of fact, some research suggests that cinnamon may help regulate blood sugar, improve insulin sensitivity, and lower LDL cholesterol. Cinnamon has also been found to support brain health over time. Of course, I'm not a doctor. This is not medical advice. But, a little bit of cinnamon in your daily routine, I don't think is the worst thing. It's an easy win.
You just said it's healthy. Yeah. That's all I needed to hear.
Yeah. I would just be careful. You don't want to be taking these massive doses. There's always people, that kind of go off the deep end. So no massive doses, no mega doses, no cinnamon challenge, scooping and scooping, but a little bit, I think can really have some benefits as well. So you don't feel so bad about eating a cinnamon.
Exactly. Or a shot of Fireball. So what makes cinnamon spicy?
It's definitely the volatile oils. And because what we found is when we source really high VO cinnamon, that those samples, when we cup them, are really intense on the palate.
Yeah.
So I think that is what's contributing to that spicy flavor. So we talked about, the cinnamon, the powdered cinnamon. We have the horchata, but I think it's time now to talk about the star of the show, Fireball. Whiskey with natural cinnamon flavor. So it's at this time we would like to invite our graphic designer and good friend, Michelle. When you think of Fireball, what's the one activity you associate it with?
Eating cinnamon rolls.
Eating cinnamon.
I don't know. Michelle earlier was saying she does it while she skis.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking.
Because it warms your heart. It warms you.
It warms your soul.
I think if we are about to do Fireball shots, we could, with a horchata chaser and then a cinnamon roll, we are going to be so high on sugar.
You might not want to start your day any other
I might do a cinnamon challenge after that. I'm coming to get my shot.
The alcohol is going to be good when it comes in a plastic bottle.
Cheers to cinnamon, to Indonesia.
Here's to Indonesia.
Here's to Indonesia. I did a shot. I just shot it. It's not that spicy. Yeah. I might want another one of those babies.
Ooh, that was good.
Yeah, it is good.
It's like candy.
It is. Yeah.
That is my first time ever having Fireball.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I never had it before.
It does taste like candy.
It does taste like candy.
Like red hots. Exactly.
Yeah. Look, so from the first time I stepped into a cinnamon grove in Sumatra, I was hit by this wave of sweet, earthy aroma. You could really feel the life in this forest. These farms aren't run by corporations. They're family-run, multi-generational operations. These guys are hand harvesting. They are using organic practices. This is real relationships, and we work with farmer cooperatives that follow organic and fair trade practices. They are paying fair prices. They are respecting the land. And without these cooperatives, small farmers wouldn't stand a chance against the big corporations that would simply cut down the forests to grow their cinnamon. That's the kind of cinnamon that we bring into our products at HQO. And it's the kind that I am proud to share with you. So for my family, cinnamon is legacy. And for the families that we work with, it's their legacy too. My dad always told me that cinnamon is a relationship spice. You build it slow, you build it right. You respect the farmers, you respect the process. And we've been sourcing cinnamon for decades, and we do it with heart because great flavor is built on great relationships. So the next time you sprinkle some cinnamon onto your oatmeal or even put it into your curry, remember the story behind that jar. It's ancient, it's bold, and it's deeply rooted in culture, craft, and community. If you like this episode or you've got a favorite cinnamon dish, I want to hear about it. Tag me at OG Spice Guy or shoot me a message. And check out our organic cinnamon at hqorganics.com. It's sustainably sourced and fucking good.
New tagline, HQO, we're fucking good.
Until then, stay flavorful, stay curious, and stay spicy.
The OG Spice Guy Show is recorded and produced by Hey Babe Media in South Pasadena, California, in association with HQ Organics, America's leading provider of organic spices. Today's episode was produced by Rob Clyde, associate producer Max Flora. It was engineered and edited by Drew Unser. The assistant editor is Andrew Weinstock, set design by Shen Heckel, web and SEO by Rebecca McDonald, and graphics by Michelle Esteva. Social media services are provided by Noelle Mercer and Sophia Sherman of Soel Social. You can DM and follow us on all platforms and socials at OG Spice Guy.
It's sustainably sourced and seriously delicious. Yeah.
Say that last sentence again.
I had a little bit of a lisp. It's sustainably sourced and seriously delicious.
Delicious.
That's delicious. It's sustainably sourced and seriously delicious. It's sustainably sourced and f***ing good.